fearless, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours.
Hi everyone, it is Julie Loughlin Hares, and I am with my good friend Raquel Soto with Your GPS for Success. We are on Divine Abundance today, and so excited to have Raquel here. We've been doing some things together behind the scenes and just getting to know each other. Raquel is the mastermind behind my theme song, so love it so much. It's so jazzy and fun. So thank you, Raquel, for that. I love it, and I get compliments on it all the time. So thank you for being with us today.
I'm so excited to be here. I really appreciate the invitation to have some
Awesome.
in the audience.
Thank you. I'm just going to go through a series of questions, Raquel. This is how the format is for my show. And I just ask you like to comment on each one of these questions. So what does divine abundance mean to you?
For me, it really means not leaving anything on the table. I want to go to the grave empty. Like whatever it is that God promised me, I want it all, and I want it all right now.
Yeah. So
And
you're going to be fully engaged while here on the earth plane.
oh, yes, because, it's like, we pray about allowing heaven to come to earth, right? Let it be on earth as it is in heaven. And I'm like, well, what's in heaven? Well, I want that. I want to be able to manifest heaven on earth and whatever I do, whether it's through my business or with my children or my other relationships.
I love that. I love that. And just from the little bit of work you and I have done behind the scenes, I can tell you that you're so generous of spirit and of your resources, and it rings through in everything that you do. And I appreciate that about you. And I've learned a lot from you in the short period of time that we've known each other. So thank you. What inspired you, Raquel, to start the business where it is today? And take us on a little bit of a journey of where this started and how it's kind of morphed into what you're doing now. Tell us, how did that evolve and what were the steps involved for that?
It started because on the last attempt, the fourth attempt, I tried to take my life. um, I was crying and I said, okay, God, you need to show me what's actually happening in my brain and my heart that I think this is okay. And then he took me through a rabbit hole of light reading, like quantum physics, epigenetics, neuroscience, all
Light reading.
light reading stuff. And that's when I started to really understand like what was happening in my body. And in my mind, and really like the atmosphere and how it was affecting reality for myself. And then it was mirroring back to me. And that's really how I started. And then I did my first course around quantum physics and how to use it to manifest your reality a little over 10 years ago. And then
Wow.
I started doing like some side coaching, and I was,
Yeah.
getting paid very well at a corporate
Mhm.
job. And then in 2019, God's like, I want you to quit. You have 90 days. And I was like, you got mail, Jesus. That's always whenever he asked me to do something big, I was like, you know how much that costs?
Right.
So he's like, well, what do you want? And I said, I want to be able to manifest through this little side business, this amount of money, and then I'll quit. And this is how I'll know it's you, right? Because it's like we need to co-create together. And he
Yes.
said that I'm just not like, being inspired or being emotional here, and that I'm actually hearing from you. And his kindness, he was just like, hold my beer. So, and for 6 weeks, nothing really changed. But the last 6 weeks of that arc, I had thousands upon thousands of dollars come into my business. And it was actually more at the end of that than I asked for. And it was just like,
Wow.
and I was like, oh, I guess I have to quit.
I guess that was your answer, right, sis?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really quit. I mean, I gave my resignation. I did a lot of international work, so it took like a couple months to unwind from that. And then I got contracted out, and I was still working for them in October. And he was just politely like, I asked you to leave them. You're still
Yeah.
contracting. That's not no.
That
So
wasn't our deal, Raquel.
right,
Is
that
that what
wasn't
he was saying to you?
That wasn't the deal. So then I was just like, okay, fine. And he's been sustaining us ever since. But this year, what really radically changed was at the end of December. You know what? They don't tell you this. Once you're in your 50s, you think everything happened like a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. It's like, no, that was decades. I was like,
Everything seems like it was just last week, but it was like, oh, 20 years ago.
literally. I was telling the story, and then God's like, no, that was like 30 years ago, Raquel. And I was like, ooh,
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not mathing right. In the end of December, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was creating music and I was in a band and everything. And the way it would work was I would get like these downloads for the lyrics and I can hear the music, but I'm not a musician. So then I would
Mhm.
talk to the musicians, brilliant, gifted. So they were able to pull it out of my head and make me
Wow.
out of it. And so there were all these words spoken about what I was going to do with the music and what we were going to do. But since, life's changed and circumstances changed, I thought it wasn't going to happen. And so I just kind of let it go dormant. And then last December, it all started like rushing. And then God again was just like, I want you to create music. And I was like, you've got mail, Jesus. You know how expensive that is? And then he's just like, well,
Super.
you have AI now, and
Yeah.
you can do it with AI. He's like, and you will prompt them just like you did the musicians. You talk to the AI just like
Yes.
the musicians, and it'll tell you what to put into the thing. So I started doing that. Just like, oh well, I'll just do it. Whoever likes it, likes it. Don't.
Right.
And I did.
Exactly.
I created over 50 songs in a few months
Wow.
because it was just like so many downloads of like concepts. And then I had the opportunity to have my own TV show. And
Yeah.
I said yes to that. And I was just like, we don't know what we're doing, but let's do it together. I was like, that sounds like my kind of.
There's a whole squad of us that are here together, just moving forward, each of us doing our own unique thing, which I think is so cool. Like
Yeah.
I love to watch what each one of you guys are doing. And I'm like, oh, that's such a cool idea. And I love to have you guys on my show too, so that other people, my viewers can see what you guys are doing too. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and that really opened up saying yes to that, right? Because we don't know what wise is like, okay, I started the music, I started then practicing with it and doing all these songs, and then I get the TV show, and then I had this idea to do my own theme song, and then it was a theme song for for other people. And then God's like, well, why don't you offer it? And I'm like, well, what's the worst they can say? It's no. So
Right.
I was like, who wants
Who's
to come
gonna
to my
who's
standby?
gonna say no to like you offering to help them and create a theme song? I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, you know?
Yeah. And that morphed into like offers. The first season of One Breakthrough Now, being a coach, I was like, it's not enough. And so like, what can I
Mhm.
do for them? That brought the workbook. And I was like, okay, the workbook's not enough. What can I do for them? I was like, oh, okay, I can do the audio coaching. I can meet with them once a month. And it's like this. I keep on telling myself I can afford to be generous because God is very generous and He always does exceedingly more than we ask or think. And since I'm his kid, I can do the same. It's like, so
Right.
what can I offer them to really be able to rewire reality, which was the theme of the first season. And so that's how all this stuff really came to be. It's like even the anthology that I have that's launching at the end of November. It was like all the
Yeah.
things of listening, being in prayer and talking to God, and then He gives me an idea, and I'm like, then you kind of always do this pushback, like I don't know about that.
You're like, are you sure, God? You got the right person?
Yes. Yeah, I was like, okay. And even though like I know like it always works out fine, you
Yeah.
still have that like, who me? Are you sure
Right.
about this?
You're like little old me? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let's do it then.
Raquel, you just touched on something I want to make sure that we pointed out to the viewers. You have an anthology book coming in November, right?
Mhm.
What's the name of the book and tell us a little bit about it?
It's called Saying Yes to the Whisper, How One
Yes.
Yes to God Changed Everything. And so we have about 20 authors right now. It's still open. And it's really about like these stories of faith and resilience. But what makes it different is like I really wanted it to be an irresistible experience for the reader. And so we're having it in digital and in physical and in audiobook and in
Mhm.
private community where the authors and the readers can meet and chat, and that's all inclusive in the bundle. So it's sold as a bundle. So it was really important for me because I know that readers will become the evangelists. I'm like, well, how do I help the authors? that came
Right.
about from complaining to God. I was just, I had a lot of authors coming to me and telling me like their stories of how things didn't pan out. And then it was just really heavy on my heart one day, and I'm talking to God. Watch that, because I'm like, that's how you get tricked by Jesus. I was like, you tricked, because I was
Yeah.
like, my heart was really heavy for them. And I'm talking to them, and I'm asking, like, somebody should really do that. And he's like, yeah, somebody really should. And I would like say certain
And
things.
somebody is you.
And then he was just like, at the end of the conversation, it felt like I was looking at him. He was looking at me like, I was like, oh, you want me to do something?
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, that's a lot of our conversations. Oh, you mean me? You want me to do that? And he's like, would
I
you?
love it, Raquel. I love it. I love this about you. You're so magical. You really are. Like your connection to the divine, to God, and how you are just so obedient. A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy, because you're like, you start, it's very easy to start then being very self-critical of, is this going to work, and who's going
Yeah.
to join, and all these other things. And we can actually stop, people like, oh, God is sovereign. Yes, he is, but he's also turned over his sovereignty to us, so we get to make a choice. He's a
Well,
choice.
if you're ever doubting yourself, sis, just hit my line because I'm always like, yeah, we're gonna do it. Like, I mean, Elena took jokes, but it's actually not a joke. When she gets a crazy idea, she calls me and she's like, what do you think? And I was like, I say, go for it. And I'm like, I'm the go person. I'm like, action, action, action. And I just recently, with two collaborators here locally in my town, we decided to pull together an event about women in transition because, as you know, Raquel, I went through a really tough year last year, losing my mom, and then, navigating my dad's illness with him, and then all the family dynamics that we went through. And what I found is that we need more community around the time where we are going through these transitions. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't see it out there, so I'm going to build it. Like, that's who I am. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, I see a need, and I'm like, I'm going to actually fill the need. I do talk to God. Like God, is this the good use of my resources? Because I have a finite amount of time,
Yeah.
with everything on my plate. And I'm like, should I be doing this? Is this, is this in alignment with where I'm headed? And it was like, yes. And so my two collaborators, it's been a while since they've done anything like this. They've done other things, but they hadn't done anything like this that's just organic, like from the ground up. And they're like, "Are you sure this is going to happen?" I was like, "Yeah, it's happening." And I'm like, I have such strong
Buttercup.
belief that I'm like, it's happening and people are going to register and we're going to sell this out. And then pretty soon registrations start coming in and things start clicking. And now we're getting into the place where we're getting close to being sold out. So, I mean, I feel blessed that I have this, I like to call it radical confidence,
Mhm.
where I'm like, yeah, if it's put on my heart and if I feel like I'm in alignment with God, then I do it.
Yeah.
And I don't even question it. I just go. And I know it scares people sometimes because they're like, how'd you decide to do that? And I'm like, well, I have a little inside track.
Yeah, we
Oh my
have to
gosh.
start. This is why community is important, because then
Yeah.
we're not sure. We have somebody else who will pray for us,
Yes.
who can see the brilliance in us and the gift in us and of us, and can speak life to us. And when we don't have those connections. That's when it's lonely, when you purposely don't build connections ahead of time. Like, don't wait until you're in the pit. Like,
Yeah.
be at the pit at some point, so you might as well go find people who are just like you, headed in a similar direction, on fire for their purpose, and
Yeah.
friends, go be a friend, because at some point you're gonna need. That's how you sow your seeds. Be somebody's friend,
Mhm.
because you'll need that friend. You'll need a friend like that soon.
Absolutely, Raquel. You are so right. And I'm blessed to have you as a friend, Alina, Allegra, Martha, I mean, Daryl, everybody that we have on the team. Like, if I were to put a prayer request in there, you guys respond, jump right on. What do you need? Like, what's going on? Like, I just feel blessed that we have the type of community around us that we do. And I've tried to build that in my extended life, here locally, but across the nation with other people that I'm collaborating with. And what a great life. Like I actually was in tears last week because I was like, God, thank you for allowing me to have a divine gift where I can profoundly help people. And
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, it was almost overwhelming because I'm like, I'm actually using my God-given abilities to really help in the lives of others. And I'm like, ooh, this feels like an honor. It feels like a true honor, and I'm so honored to be able to do it.
It's very
Um,
humbling, right?
it is very humbling. It
I
is.
had clients last week telling me where they're like, Raquel, you don't understand. You're making dreams come true. I'm like, what do you mean?
Mhm.
I was
Yeah,
like, you don't even think about that. I was like, oh, I'm just following directions. I'm just going with the flow of passion. It's like pulling me really hard. And I just feel I want to help. And they're like, no, you're making dreams come true when you do this. And you made my dream come true. And another client's like, no, you made my dream come true when you offered this. And I think that's something too for entrepreneurs to understand that your offer is
Mhm.
actually a dream come true for somebody else. And so when we are not offering that, we're hurting them
Yep.
because it's not about us. When we always say it's not about us, it really isn't.
It really isn't.
God made
It's
us
about the other people.
other
It
person.
is.
We're supposed to help them.
Raquel, I think you've already said this. You've already touched on it, but I really want to kind of like unpack this a little bit. Um, what is the biggest challenge that you've ever overcome year to date, like in your life?
It was really that false identity,
Mm-hmm.
who I thought I was and who God says I am. And there was such a chasm between those two ideologies.
Yeah.
It was a lot of overcoming things that were told to me in childhood because I can be very exuberant, but I'm also Latin. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
uh,
You have passion for life.
yeah, I'm passionate about life and
Yeah.
and really seeing that my personality is not a handicap; it's my superpower.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
And so once I started to embrace really how I am wired to succeed, and that God did not make a mistake part of our personality is our gifting. Whether
Yep.
you're an extrovert, introvert, ambivert, some
Yeah.
with the seasons too, depending on our age, we tend to change a little bit. But our personalities are part of our success system that God gave us. He gave us those
Mm-hmm.
personalities for a reason. And then really also being able to discern what's a personality versus what was nurtured in, what was actually
Yeah.
God versus things that came from my culture, my subculture, the things that I thought were me. Um,
Yep.
Started really to identify with those things that God never said. And so it's a constant, like it's not over. It's like I was like, oh yeah, that's not true. That's not true of me. And then God works that out and then he'll reveal another thing. It's always going from one level to the other of
Right.
but who he says that I am. And really going
Yeah.
back to that audience of one. If this is what he says, then I'm going to choose to believe him because he loves me and he sees all.
That's right. That's right. And it sounds like from what you said earlier that you went through a really challenging time where you had to, let go of suicidal ideation and really step into the light. And I'm just so grateful that you're still here with us and that you overcame that time. And as someone that's been connected to others that that have lost their life through that, like I'm just so proud of you that you came through that and that you didn't give up on Raquel because you're so needed. You're so needed and you're God's child, just like
I,
we all are. Yep.
and like that fourth time when I saw the pain and I was planning to jump and God allowed me to see. And he's like, well, if you jump, you'll be fine. You'll be with me. He's like, but turn around. And I saw my children and my parents and my sister. He's like, they won't ever get over it.
No,
He goes, you'll be fine. It'll be over, Raquel. But they'll never get over it.
no, they'll never be the same.
No.
Yeah.
And
So
that broke my heart. And that's
yeah, Raquel, thank God you persevered and thank God, you tapped into your connection to God. Like I feel really just very blessed that you worked through that. I love that you have the anthology book coming, but tell me about the rest of this year. Like, tell me other things that you're excited about as we move into the end of this year. And I'm sorry, friend, I didn't mean to make you cry, but I just wanted to like really hold space for you with that because that is just a tremendous thing that you went through, and I think you're amazing. So I wanted to just give you a moment to like really take that in. Like you're an incredible person and we are so blessed that you're here with us.
I really appreciate your heart.
Yeah.
So many
Absolutely.
things I'm excited about. I'm excited about the second season of One Breakthrough Now. That's
Yeah.
Well, we're recording this is actually launching today, and I do a 12-week arc on my show, and so this season is going to be it still has this split. So I'm going to be showing the 12 principles for entrepreneurs. So the
Hmm.
first part of the show is really around entrepreneurs, and there's so many people who are being called out of corporate or out of their job
Yes.
to do it part-time. And so it's a lens through there, because sometimes when we see the principles, it's like, how would that apply to me where I'm at? And so the
Yeah.
first one, it's like first part is for them, either they're beginning or God's calling them out, so they need the principle. And then the second
Hmm.
part is for the seasoned.
Yeah.
God's calling them higher. And so they can learn from each other from the whole segment, because then you have a whole view. But we really need to like break it down to see, okay, this is the season you're at. And so this is how this applies to you and how you can leverage it.
Hmm.
This is the season that you're at, and this is how it can apply for you to leverage it. So I'm super excited about.
So cool. I love that you're doing both, the new entrepreneur or solopreneur and then the season one and the different dynamics that they both have and you're speaking to each and I love that you're segmenting that to really be very relevant for each one in those space. That's great. I'll definitely be listening because as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, my son jokes with me. He's like, Mom, I went to college for 2 weeks and you started another whole company. I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, I was bored. I'm like, you freed up some time and I've got to I got to make good use of my time while I'm here. Just like you said earlier, I need to make good use of my time while I'm here. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing that you've learned, maybe a little bit of wisdom that you'd like to share with the younger version of Raquel, what would it be?
There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing has gone wrong. The things that you're feeling, they're just rooted in your thoughts. The things that you're doing, they're just rooted in your thoughts. And so there's really nothing wrong with you. You're beautifully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
Once you understand that it's really all mindset, because we will prosper and be in health as our soul, which is our mind, our will, and emotions prosper, everything else will fall into place. Nothing has gone wrong.
Yeah, that's amazing. For me, it was, and I share this with everyone that comes on the show, like I always share my perspective of that same question. It is, you are not alone. There was many times when I was much younger that I felt very alone, but I was like, didn't realize that God was right there with me the whole time. And just I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, just like look to him, because he's right there with you. And you're actually not alone, even though you think that you are alone, you are totally not alone. Raquel, can we find you on Prospera TV Network?
Mhm.
It's your GPS for success.
Mhm.
Other places that we should be looking for you.
I'm most active right now on Facebook. Uh,
Okay.
you can just, find my name, Raquel Soto, or is it also
Okay.
T Soto? And you can connect with me there. I'm very active on Messenger, although don't cold DM me because I'm not going to answer you. I'm also starting to get more active on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on Define Abundance with me today. It was amazing to be here with you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you, friend.
You got purpose, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours. Oh, oh, oh. This is your prosperity.
hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.